Hello everyone, welcome to Social Studies class. Today we are going to be discussing international conflicts. International conflict. But before we continue, before I give you the definition of what international conflict means, let me give you a brief background. In 1994, Cameroon asked the International Court of Justice, that is ICJ, to rule on a dispute with Nigeria over who had sovereignty over the Bakassi Peninsula. Bakassi Peninsula is located in Cross River State. Now, the oil-rich peninsula is a strip of land on the border between Nigeria and Cameroon. The ICJ ruled in favor of Cameroon. In 2004, the then UN Secretary General Kofi Annan hosted a meeting with the president of both countries, that is the president of Nigeria and that of Cameroon, in order to resolve the conflict. The two presidents agreed to peacefully comply with ICJ's ruling, and in August 1st, 2006, Nigeria's troops began to pull out of the Bakassi Peninsula. So that dispute was resolved. And so this is a very good example of what international conflict is all about. However, it's not every international conflict that leads to war, but some international conflict can lead to war. Now, what is an international conflict? An international conflict is a situation in which two or more countries disagree over a particular issue. And there are many reasons why countries may disagree. Sometimes this reason can be resolved peacefully. For example, the Nigeria and the Cameroon dispute over the Bakassi Peninsula was resolved peacefully. At other times, as in the case of World War, the First and the Second World War, conflict may escalate into a full-blown war. But let us look at causes of international conflict. Number one is we have conflict over territory. The good example is that of Nigeria and Cameroon. So sometimes countries disagree over territory, as in the case of Nigeria and Cameroon over the Bakassi Peninsula. Number two is conflict over natural resources. Conflict over natural resources. Okay? Now, as I told you earlier, the case between Nigeria and Cameroon, the Bakassi Peninsula is an oil-rich region. So natural resources are not evenly distributed among nations. Some countries have more than others. This means that a country may attempt to forcefully take resources from another. And if that country refuses, then it will lead to international conflict. Then we have conflict over trade. If two countries produce the same goods for a common market, there is bound to be a trade dispute. They will become rival. Each country in the process trying to win over more customers may step on the other's toes. For example, China is a country with the technology and manpower to produce clothes very cheaply. And so in 2005, for example, a ban limiting the amount of textile imported and exported into Europe was dropped. China then flooded Europe with its own cheap clothes. You see, other countries that produce clothes could not do so as cheaply as China. Why? Because China has the manpower. Okay? So these are some of the examples that can arise from conflict over trade. Even recently, China and the United States of America are still having a problem over trade. Okay, conflict in trade. Another causes is military domination. Different countries have different military strength. Sometimes a nation with greater military strength will try to use it to extend its influence over another. This was the case in 1939 when Adolf Hitler tried to conquer more land in Europe for Germany. So the world was thrown into war when he invaded Poland and neighboring European countries. So when some countries that feel that they are more superior than another, they will go into war. They will want to conquer the other country that is they consider to be weak. And when this country resist them, then there will be war. Now, how do we resolve this? Resolution of international conflict. Now, to minimize and resolve conflict, international bodies such as UN, ECOWAS, and the AU, okay, that is United Nations, Economic Communities of West African States, and African Union, AU, have been set up. This organization use diplomatic means to try to peacefully resolve conflict. Sometimes they also send peacekeeping forces into war-torn areas. This is the way that international conflicts are being resolved. The people are called into a round table and they will resolve it peacefully. But sometimes one of the countries may not want peaceful resolution. And so what do? They will use military force. They will force them. Even Nigeria have contributed troops, soldiers to peacekeeping in parts of Africa. Have a lovely day.